Welcome back to Pandemic Pill, Favipiravir for COVID, the podcast uncovering the science of Favipiravir role in COVID-19 research. I am Kanak, and each episode we explore a new technical aspect with leading experts. Today, we are on episode 7, that is navigating a Favipiravir safety in COVID-19 research. We will dive into the safety profile of favipiravir, looking at common side effects like hyperuricemia and rare but serious risk in COVID-19 studies. Joining me is again Aseema Mishra, a microbiology researcher. Welcome, Aseema.
Thanks, Kanak. It's really good to be back. And I'm really looking forward to discussing what the research has been telling us about favipiravir safety.
Yes, so let's jump in. We are focusing on how safe favipiravir is in COVID-19 research. And can you give us an overview of its safety profile based on studies with the COVID-19 patients?
Yeah, absolutely. The different studies that have been done have shown that favipiravir is generally a very well tolerated drug in COVID-19 patients, with most of the side effects being somewhere mild to moderate. And the most common issue that we observed is hyperuricemia, which is an increase in the uric acid levels in the blood, and which affects a notable portion of the patients that take this drug. Other frequent side effects include mild digestive issues and temporary liver enzyme elevations as well. But serious side effects are quite rare. Although there are some concerns about potential risks like abnormal liver function in some of the cases, But the overall data, but the overall safety data suggests that favipiravir is manageable for short-term use in research settings.
That means hyperuricemia sounds like a key concern, right?
Right.
Uh, how common is it, and what does it mean for patients in these studies?
Well, hyperuricemia is the most reported side effect that we have seen in most of the cases, occurring in about 15 to 20% of patients across studies involving thousands of COVID-19 cases. And it happens because fabipiravir's metabolism produces a byproduct that reduces uric acid excretion in the body, causing levels to rise in the blood. In most cases, it's mild to temporary, resolving after the drug is stopped being consumed by the patient. And patients don't experience symptoms like gout. However, researchers monitor uric acid levels closely when it is being administered, especially in patients with pre existing conditions like kidney issues, in order to ensure that it does not cause further complications.
That's reassuring that it's usually mild. What other common side effects have shown up in these studies?
Okay, digestive issues are fairly common, affecting around 10% of the patients who consume favipiravir. These include nausea, diarrhea, or stomach discomfort, even, but they're typically mild and don't really need to stopping the drug. And another frequent finding that we have seen is elevated liver enzymes, which was seen in about 7 to 10% of patients in trials that involved hundreds of participants. This suggested that some stress on the liver is there, but it's usually temporary and does not progress to serious liver damage. And these effects are consistent across studies and are considered manageable in the context of short-term treatment courses.
So, mostly mild effects so far.
Yeah.
What about those rare but serious side effects, and what risk have researchers flagged?
Well, serious side effects are quite uncommon, but they do exist, such as abnormal liver function beyond just elevated enzymes occur in less than 2% of the patients who take favipiravir, based on the data from large trials. This can involve more significant liver This can involve more significant liver stress, especially in patients with underlying liver conditions prior, though it's rare for it to become to a severe stage. Another rare concern is leukopenia in some cases, where a drop in white blood cell counts was seen, but it was reported in about just 1% of the cases in studies over 1,000 patients. And this could weaken the immune responses, but it was also typically reversible. So that did not pose a very big risk, I must say. And importantly, these serious effects are closely monitored in research in order to understand their impact.
Those sounds like risk to watch carefully.
Yeah.
Are there any groups of patients where favipiravir side effects are more concerning in studies?
Yes, certain groups did stand out. Patients with kidney problems are definitely at a higher risk for hyperuricemia because their bodies clear uric acid less efficiently than normal people. And as seen in trials with 300 patients where these patients had higher uric acid spikes. And those with pre-existing liver disease also face greater risk for liver enzyme elevations or abnormal function, which was noted from the studies that was conducted in almost 200 patients. Elderly patients, were, elderly patients studied in groups of about 150 sometimes showed more pronounced side effects like nausea, likely due to slower drug clearance from their bodies. And these findings help researchers understand who might need extra monitoring in the studies.
That's critical for triggering the research approaches, I guess. Uh, how does favipiravir safety profile compare to other antivirals like we have talked about Paxlovid and molnupiravir in COVID-19 studies? What do you say?
Yeah, so Favipiravir safety profile is comparable in some ways, but it has also quite unique aspects. Like Paxlovid studied in over 2,000 patients commonly causes taste changes in about 6% of the patients and diarrhea in almost 3%, with rare cases of high blood with rare cases of high blood pressure in less than 1% of the patients that were administered the drug. Molnupiravir, also tested in nearly 1,500 patients, has milder side effects in like headache in 2% of the patients that consumed it, and nausea in 1% of the patients, with no major serious risks that was reported for the consumption of molnupiravir. But Favipiravir's higher rate of hyperuricemia, which was 15 to 20%, is quite distinct, and its liver enzyme elevations are more frequent compared to molnupiravir. However, all the three are considered safe for short-term use, with Favipiravir's side effects being more metabolic in nature.
Okay, that metabolic angle is interesting. What's the latest research focus on managing the favipiravir safety in COVID-19 studies?
Well, researchers are working on ways to minimize the side effects while also maintaining the efficacy of the drug. Some studies with over 100 patients are exploring lower maintenance doses that could reduce hyperuricemia, especially in those with kidney issues that they're already suffering from. There's also a push to better screen patients for liver or kidney conditions before starting the treatment, based on data showing these groups are more vulnerable. Monitoring protocols are also being refined, like checking the uric acid and liver markers during the treatment in order to catch any issues early and also ensure that the drug is used as safely as possible in research.
I think that sounds like a smart approach.
Yeah.
And before we wrap up, what's one key takeaway about favipiravir safety profile that our listeners should hold on to?
Well, the key is that favipiravir is generally safe for short-term use in case of COVID-19 research, with common but mild side effects like hyperuricemia and digestive issues, and rarely any serious risks like liver problems. This shows how researchers balance safety with effectiveness, especially for vulnerable patients.
That's a clear takeaway. Aseema, thank you for guiding us through Favipiravir safety profile
My
with
pleasure.
such insight.
My pleasure.
Listeners, join us for episode 8, where we will explore potential drug interactions with Favipiravir in COVID-19 studies. And if you are enjoying Pandemic Pill, Favipiravir for COVID, please subscribe, rate, and share. I'm Kanak, and we will see you soon next time.